everyone can hear us?
Da li svi mogu da nas čuju?
No, little louder, please.
Ne is no,
Profesora, da li vas ne? Znači, malo glasnije.
You need to speak loud.
Ja se izvinjavam svima, zato što ovo je 12. ili 13. dan mog prevođenja, pošto imamo kako su nam seminari, pa malo gubim glas, ali pokušajte da bude glasnije.
Okay, firstly I'd like to thank you all for coming.
Želim svima da se zahvali što ste došli.
And to thank the Bowen Association of Serbia for organizing this presentation for me.
I također da se zahvali Bowen Udruženju Srbije koje je organizovalo ovo predavanje.
And I promise you I will try to explain.
I obećavam da će pokušati da vam objasnim.
It is a technique without exaggeration that is nothing like any other.
Ovo je tehnika bez preterivanja koja se ne može uporediti ni s jednom drugom.
It is a manual therapy done by fingers and thumbs.
To je znači manualna terapija koja se izvodi sa prstima, najčešće sa kažiprstom i sa palcem.
That activates the body's inner healing ability.
Koja aktivira znači unutrašnju sposobnost tela
Easier to understand.
Da bi vam pojednostavio.
It activates the inner doctor.
Aktivira unutrašnjeg doktora.
Now, as Ceca said, I'm Andrew Zoppos and I come from Australia.
Kao što je predsjednik udruženja Svetlana rekla, on se zove Andrew Zoppos i dolazi iz Australije.
But I don't look like an Australian woman.
Ali ne izgleda kao Australijanac.
Well, not even the Aboriginals are not really Australians.
Kaže da čak ni Aboriđini nisu pravi Australijanci.
Only Aboriginals, the only Australians are the kangaroos.
Jedini Australijanci su stvari kenguri.
So, originally I come from Cyprus and I am Greek.
Znači, originalno on dolazi sa Kipra i on je Grk.
So, I came across this technique 26 years ago.
Pre 26 godina se upoznao sa ovom tehnikom.
5 years before that, on my way to my practice.
5 godina pre tog događaja na putu za njegovu praksu.
I was running a physiotherapeutic practice, pretty busy.
Vodio je jednu fizioterapeutsku praksu i bio je veoma zaposlen.
For many years.
Mnogo godina.
And on my way to my practice one morning, I was involved in a car accident.
I jednog jutra je imao sudar.
Ended up in hospital with severe whiplash and fractured sternum.
Završio je znači u bolnici, imao je trzaj taj vrata i veliku podnetu i bio je nosio kradu.
I was released from the hospital 8 hours later.
8 sati kasnije otpušten iz bolnice.
With a collar.
Sa tom kragnom.
And a handful of painkillers.
I rukom punom lekova protiv bolova.
Doctor said there's nothing they could do for me.
Doktori su rekli da ne postoji ništa više što mogu da uradi.
Only time will help.
Jedino vreme će pomoći.
Well, about 8-10 weeks later, I was suffering with pretty stiff neck and migraine headaches.
Posle 8 do 10 nedelja on je patio od počenja vrata i veoma jakih glavobolja i migrena.
And very difficult to sleep at night.
I imao je poteškoće da spava.
So I visited a friend of mine who's an orthopedic surgeon.
Posjetio je svog prijatelja koji je hirurg ortoped.
And I said to my friend John, what do we do with my problem?
I pitao je svog prijatelja Johna šta možemo da uradimo sa mojim problemom.
He also did the necessary testings.
On je također napravio neophodne testove.
And he said to me, well, give it a bit longer. If it doesn't get better, we operate.
I rekao je da ćemo još malo vremena, ako ne bude bolje, moramo da operišemo.
I said, well, you're my friend, but I'm not going to let you cut me out.
On je rekao, ti si moj prijatelj, ali neću ti dozvoliti da me sečiš.
I promised him I will find a technique or a person that will help me.
Obećao mu da će naći tehniku ili osobu koja će mu pomoći.
So I set myself a quest to find someone, anyone, to help my problem.
Postavio sebi zadatak da nađe nekoga, bilo koga ko će moći da mu pomoći.
5 years later,
5 godina kasnije,
I was still searching.
I dalje je tražio.
I was still suffering with migraine headaches and I still had a collar on.
I dalje patio od migrena i od glavobolja i dalje nosio kragu.
And I was still working.
I dalje je radio.
So I've tried every possible technique there was.
Pokušao je sve moguće tehnike koje su postojale.
From alternative,
alternativnih,
complementary,
komplementarnih,
hocus pocus,
hokus pokusa,
nothing could help.
ništa mu nije pomoglo.
And finally, I started thinking that the operation might be the only solution left.
I na kraju je počeo da razmišlja o operaciji, da je to jedino rešenje.
And my friend John, every time we got together for a beer or barbecue,
I svaki put kad se susretao sa svojim prijateljem Johnom na pivu ili roštilju,
he would tell me that his knives are pretty sharp.
rekao bi da je njegov nož naoštren.
Well, as I was contemplating the operation, thinking of the
Pošto je
operation,
razmišljao o operaciji,
one of my own patients suggested that I should go and see a Bowen therapist.
jedan od njegovih pacijenata mu je sugerisao da bi trebalo da ide možda da vidi Bowen terapeuta.
Bowen therapy, never heard of it before.
Nikada pre toga nije čuo za
And I
Bowen
traveled
terapeuta.
many, many miles to find any practitioner.
Putovao je mnogo kilometara da nađe razne terapeute.
I was very interested to find out more about this technique.
Naravno, bio je veoma zainteresovan da čuje više o toj tehnici.
And the patient told me that this technique will reset my body to heal itself.
Pacijent mu je rekao da ovom tehnikom će u stvari resetovati telo i podsjeći ga da se samo izleči.
And for the first time in 5 years, I've heard something that actually made a lot of sense.
Prvi put u 5 godina je čuo nešto što mu je stvarno imalo smisla.
Because until then, anyone that I went to, they were forcing my body to do what they wanted.
Zato što do tada svi koji su mu pomagali su u stvari forsirali njegovo telo i želeli da telo uradi ono što oni hoće.
Well, I was very interested. I made an appointment with the practitioner.
Bio je veoma zainteresovan, napravio je termin, da kaže termin.
When I got there, I started losing faith because there was no practice.
Kad je došao tamo, počeo je da gubi nadu jer tamo nije bilo nikakve prakse, niti klinike.
Just his house.
Samo obična kuća.
When I started talking to him, I realized that he had no idea about anatomy or physiology.
Kad je počeo da priča sa Bowen terapeutom, shvatio je da on ne zna ništa o anatomiji i fiziologiji.
So I said to him, this is my problem.
Rekao mu je koji je njegov problem.
I suffered for 5 years.
Patim već 5 godina.
How can you help me?
Kako možeš da mi pomogliš?
He said, Bowen technique.
On je rekao Bowen tehnikom.
I said, okay, how does it work?
Pitao je kako to radi.
He says, no idea.
Nema pojma.
If you don't know how it works, how do you know you can help my problem?
Ako ne znaš kako radi, kako možeš da mi pomogliš?
He said, look sir,
On je rekao, slušajte gospodine.
I've learned this technique 6 months ago.
Naučio sam ovu tehniku pre 6 meseci.
Everyone I treated got better.
Svakom koga sam tretirao, bilo je bolje.
I thought, wow, what a statement.
On je rekao, wow, kakva izjava.
I've been in the health industry for almost 20 years.
Bio je u zdravstvu skoro 20 godina do tada.
I could never make that statement.
Nikad ne bi mogli da da takvu
So
izjavu.
I said, okay, I'll try it.
I rekao, ok, ajde pokušat ću.
Well, to cut the long story short,
Da bi skratio priču,
3 treatments he took.
uradio mu je 3 tretmana.
I threw the collar away.
On je odbacio kradnu
Never had any problems since.
i nikada od tada više nije imao problema.
And eventually, very short period of time later, about 6 or 7 weeks later,
Posle 6 do 7 nedelja, znači vrlo brzo,
I enrolled into the first seminar
se
with my
priključio
teacher.
prvom seminaru i počeo da uči Bowen tehniku.
My friend, orthopedic surgeon, John and I, we sat together.
Zajedno sa svojim prijateljem Johnom, hirurgom ortopedom, sedeli su zajedno.
My teacher was telling us how wonderful this technique is.
Njegov učitelj im je pričao kako je ovo divna tehnika,
Well, we have no choice but to believe him because we've seen the result on myself.
nisu imali drugog izbora nego da mu veruju zato što je imao rezultate.
And while he was talking about musculoskeletal problems, that was great. We believed him.
I dok je pričao o muskuloskeletnim problemima, to je bilo u redu i verovao.
But when he started talking about chronic diseases, neurological diseases, autoimmune diseases,
Počeo da priča o hroničnim bolestima, neurološkim bolestima, autoimunim bolestima
internal organs,
i unutrašnjim organima,
stress, depression,
stres,
grief.
depresija, tuga.
John and I, we both looked at one another and we said, no, this guy now is So you try to sell us the technique.
On i njegov prijatelj John su se pogledali i mislili su da...
It was very difficult to believe that these gentle moves that they done on the body, even on the clothes, can have such an effect.
Bilo im je teško da poveruju da takvi nežni pokreti, koji također mogu da se urade preko odeće, mogu toliko da pomogu.
But it did not take me long. After the very first seminar,
Nije mu trebalo dugo, već posle prvog seminara,
I had a lot of patients that I could not help with the regular physiotherapy.
Ima je puno pacijenata kojima nije mogao da pomogne sa regularnim fizioterapeutskim tretmanima.
Also, I'm a acupuncturist,
Također se bavi akupunkturom,
Chinese traditional medicine.
kineskom tradicionalnom medicinom,
I've learned trigger point therapy, myofascial release
trigger
therapy,
point terapiju, miofacijalnu oslobađanje.
and all these techniques that I knew I could not help these people.
I sa svim tim tehnikama nije mogao da pomogu ljudima.
Well, I've got nothing to lose. I will try Bowen.
I rekao je, nemam šta da izgubim, pokušat ću s Bowenom.
I did a Bowen treatment.
Radio je Bowen tretmane.
They come back a week later.
Oni bi se vratili nedelju dana
I
kasnije.
said, you know what you did last time?
I rekli su, jer znaš šta si radio prošli put?
I'm 80% better.
Ja sam 80% bolje.
I said, no, you're not serious.
On bi rekao, niste ozbiljni, međutim pacijenti su.
Every person that I treated got better.
Svaki pacijent kog je tretirao bio je bolje.
Slowly, within 2, 3, 4 treatments,
Polako, kroz 3-4 tretmana,
I started losing patients.
počeo da gubi klijenta, odnosno pacijenta.
With physiotherapy, I bring them in 3 and 4 times a week.
Sa fizioterapijom oni su dolazili 3-4 puta nedeljno.
This technique is only once a week.
A ova tehnika je jednom nedeljno.
So, money not coming in.
Novac nije dolazio.
But then, everyone that got better told someone else, and someone else, and
Ali
someone else.
svakome kome je bilo bolje je prenosio svoje iskustvo da dalje i tako se širio krug.
Within short period of time, I started treating 4 people, 6 people, all at the same time.
Vrlo brzo počeo je da radi tretmane u isto vreme, 4 pacijenata, 6 pacijenata.
Because this technique is completely different than any other.
Zato što je ova tehnika potpuno drugačija od bilo koje druge.
We are using the body like a keyboard of a computer.
Mi koristimo telo kao tastaturu od kompjutera.
And we write a message.
I pišemo poruku.
While the computer is processing the message,
Dok kompjuter, odnosno naš mozak, procesuje poruku,
the practitioner walks out the room and leaves the patient alone.
terapeut izlazi iz sobe i ostavlja pacijenta da to uradi sam.
So in the time that the body needs to process the word, we went from room, kill the phone. From room to room to room to room to room.
Znači, dok čekamo da telo to obradi podatke koje smo mu zadali, mi možemo kao terapeuti da idemo iz sobe u sobu i da tretiramo druge pacijente.
Well, I was treating, at some stages I was treating about 40 patients a day.
U jednom trenutku tretirao je 40 pacijenata dnevno.
I had people coming from all over Australia.
Dolazili su mu ljudi iz cele Australije.
And that was in 1989, 90, 91, 92.
To je bilo 1989, 90, prve, druge.
In 1993, I received a phone call from my teacher
1993. godine primio
Asking me-
telefonski poziv od njegovog učitelja
asking me to help him teach this technique to the world.
i on ga je pitao da li želi da učestvuje, da mu pomogne da šire tehniku van granice i da učitelje.
Of course, I accepted.
Naravno da je se
And in
prihvatio.
1999, I was on a plane coming to Europe.
I 1997. bio je u avionu za Evropu.
I started in Greece, big
Počeo
Greek.
je u Grčkoj, naravno.
I wanted to go to Cyprus because that's where I come from, but
Žela je da ode na Kipar zato što je odande.
Cypriot people are a little bit very hard-headed. Almost like the Serbians, difficult to convince.
I kaže da su Kiprani malo tvrdoglavi, skoro kao Srbi. Teško ih je ubediti.
In 2002, I was in Germany,
2002. bio u Nemačkoj.
no language.
Nije znao jezik.
My friend says, but how are you going to tell the Germans what this technique is all about?
Prijatelj ga je pitao kako ćeš reći Nemcima o čemu se radi.
I said, I don't need to tell them, I'll just show them.
Ne moram da im kažem ništa, samo ću da im pokažem.
From 2002 to 2007, I had 600 students in Germany.
2002. do 2007. imao 600 studenta u Nemačkoj.
And I did courses in the north,
I radio kurseve na
from
severu,
Hamburg
od Hamburga,
to Munich to Frankfurt, Berlin to Leipzig.
Berlina, Leipziga.
Then I introduced teachers in Germany,
Onda je predstavio učitelje u Nemačkoj
and I moved to the Balkans.
i prebacio se na Balkan.
Best move I ever made.
Najbolji potez koji je napravio u životu.
For two reasons.
Iz dva razloga.
It's in my heart. Balkans belong to me.
Znači, Balkan je u njegovom
Because
srcu.
I'm a Balkanian too.
Zato što je i on Balkanac.
And we have a different attitude.
I imamo drugačiji stav.
I started in Romania in 2006.
Počeo u Rumuniji 2006.
I have now over 2,000 students in Romania.
Sad ima 2000 studenta u Rumuniji.
And you know why this technique is growing so fast and so quick all over the world?
I znate zašto se ova tehnika širi toliko brzo svuda u svetu?
It works.
Zato što radi.
We have now
Sad imamo
over 100 instructors worldwide.
preko 100 instruktora širom sveta.
We've opened 42 countries.
Otvorili smo 42
And we
zemlje.
have over 40,000 practitioners worldwide.
I imamo preko 40.000 terapeuta širom sveta.
And the new instructors are coming in now.
I novi instruktori koji
It's
dolaze
going to grow even more and more.
i još više će širiti tehniku.
This technique is a non-invasive technique.
Ova tehnika je potpuno neinvazivna,
It will not do any harm,
ne može da naškodi
and it works.
i radi.
Now, the founder of this technique was Mr. Bowen.
Osnivač ove tehnike je gospodin Bowen.
When he was young, he wanted to be a doctor.
Kad je bio mlad, on je želeo da bude doktor.
His father was a carpenter, did not believe in education.
Njegov otac je bio stolar i nije verovao u obrazovanje.
So at the age of 16-year-old, Tom, whether he liked it or not, he went with his father and he became a carpenter.
Kad je imao 16 godina, želeo to ili ne, on je morao da krene sa svojim ocem i da postane stolar.
When he got married,
Kad se oženio,
his wife was asthmatic.
njegova žena je bila asmatična.
Often she had to be hospitalized to be put on oxygen.
Morala je često da bude u bolnici i da prima kiseonik.
Tom started treating him with this technique, as we call it today, the Bowen technique.
Tom je počeo da je tretira svojom tehnikom, koju danas zovemo Bowen tehnika,
And after a few treatments, she was symptom-free.
i posle nekoliko tretmana ona je bila bez simptoma.
Anyone in the factory where Tom was working as a carpenter,
Takođe u fabrici gde je Tom radio kao stolar,
if they had a problem, they come to Tom.
ako neko imao problem, došao bi po
Tom
Tom.
will make a few moves on their backs and they get better.
Tom bi uradio nekoliko pokuta na njihovim leđima i oni bi bili bolji.
In the 50s, he was doing 2 jobs.
U 50-ih on je radio 2 posla.
All day in the factory, and straight after work, he started working at home with patients.
Ceo dan, znači, u fabrici i onda kad bi došao kući, nastavio bi da tretira pacijente kod kući.
In the beginning of the 60s, he had no other choice but to start a clinic.
U početku 60-ih nije imao drugog izbora nego da otvori svoju kliniku.
Within the first year, he had to move into a much bigger clinic.
Već prve godine morao je da se preseli u veću kliniku.
A year later, into much bigger practice.
Sledeće godine u još veću.
And it was so big, he had about 14 rooms.
Bilo je toliko velika klinika, imala 14.
Bowen was treating 14 people at once.
On je tretirao 14 ljudi u isto vreme.
In 1974, a survey that it was done by the tax department of Victoria, Australia,
1974. pozvan je od strane poreske uprave.
they discovered that on alternative and complementary medicine practitioners, the survey was done.
Radili su procenu alternativnih komplementarnih tehnika,
Practitioners.
alternativnih komplementarnih terapeuta koji su se bavili alternativnih komplementarnih
They found that Tom Bowen was treating 13,000 people a year.
Oni su pronašli da je Tom Bowen tretirao 30.000 ljudi godišnje.
60 persons a day.
60 ljudi dnevno.
And from what we discovered when we did the survey ourselves,
I ono što su oni otkrili,
his secretary and accountant
stvari njegova sekretarica i njegov računovođa,
told us that
im je rekla
it was not true.
da to nije tačno bilo.
There must have been 100 to 120 a day, she said.
Rekla je da je sigurno bilo 100 do 120 ljudi dnevno.
She said nobody tells the truth to the taxman.
Rekla je, niko ne kaže poreskim vlastima istinu.
Well, Tom Bowen was one of those gifted people of the world.
Tom Bowen je bio jedan od onih ljudi sa darom.
I'm sure we have some here in Serbia.
Siguran je da i mi imamo ovdje u Srbiji.
We'll find them everywhere.
Svuda ih ima.
Tom picked 6 men
Tom je izabrao 6 ljudi
and taught them his technique.
i naučio ih je svojom tehnikom.
Each one of those people from a different discipline.
Svaki od njih potiču iz različitih disciplina.
There were two osteopaths,
Bilo je dvoje osteopate,
a chiropractor,
jedan kiropraktičar,
physiotherapist,
fizioterapeut,
a masseur,
jedan maser
and a homeopath.
i jedan homeopat.
Each one of those 6 people asked Tom the same question.
Svaki od te šestorice ljudi pitali su Toma isto pitanje.
From where and how he found and developed this amazing technique.
Gde i kako je naučio ovu divnu tehniku?
He gave them all the same answer.
Svima je dao isti odgovor.
It was a gift of God.
Da je to dar od Boga.
I, Andrew Zoppos, believe it's true.
Andrew Zoppos veruje da je to tačno.
The results that we're having and the simplicity of the technique, it can't be anything else.
Znači, zbog rezultata koje imamo i zbog jednostavnosti tehnike ne može biti ništa drugo.
Now, in a moment, I'm going to ask you if you have any questions.
Pitaće vas da li ima neko pitanje za sada.
There's one question that I don't want anybody to ask.
Jedno pitanje postoji koji ne želi niko da ga pita.
Whether this technique can address this problem, that problem, or any other.
Da li tehnika može da pomogne u nekom problemu ili nekom drugom?
The answer is yes.
Zato što je odgovor da.
So don't ask the question.
Nemojte to da
Huh? Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because we have seen the results on chronic conditions, on acute conditions, all over the world.
Razlog zašto vam to kaže je zato što smo videli rezultate bilo kroničnih, bilo akutnih bolesti svuda u svijetu.
A Bowen practitioner is only a facilitator.
Bowen terapeut je samo facilitator, odnosno prenosilac.
We give the work to the body.
Mi dajemo zadajemo u stvari telu šta da radi.
And the body is responsible for its own healing.
I telo u stvari samo odgovorno za izlečenje.
The body,
Telo,
our body,
naše telo.
the most intelligent machine in the universe.
Najinteligentnija mašina u celom univerzumu.
There's no other machine like our body that works for so many years, non-stop.
Ne postoji ni jedna mašina koja radi kao naše telo non-stop.
And ideally, if we learn to treat our body like we treat our cars,
Idealno kad bi se bavili našim telom kao što se bavimo i održavamo naš auto,
like a service every so often,
kao servis vremena na vreme,
our bodies will last a lot longer.
naše telo bi trajalo duže.
But humans, generally speaking,
Znači, u generalnom smislu uopšteno, ljudi
we wait until the body breaks down and then take it to the doctor.
čekaju da se desi neki problem u telu i onda idu kod doktora.
So like then,
Onda je već kasno.
huh? Now, I don't know how many doctors are here,
Ne znam koliko doktora ima ovde.
but one, no offense if any,
Nemojte da se uvredite ako ima.
there is one doctor that is the best of them all,
Postoji jedan doktor koji je najbolji.
the inner doctor.
To je unutrašnji doktor.
So, there's a lot more, but I want to just demonstrate a little bit as well.
Ima puno još da se priča, ali želeo bih da demonstrira neke stvari.
Although it's not an ideal clinical treatment,
Iako ovo nije idealan tretman kako izgleda ovaj tretman,
but I will show how it's done.
ali pokazat će kako izgleda, kako se
And especially, and people actually, they might have some neck problem or shoulder problem,
Možda ako neko ima neki problem sa vratom, ramenom,
or they feel very stressed. Is anyone here that doesn't feel stressed?
stres,
Some, what's wrong with the thumb? So, okay, moment. What do you think your inner doctor can do on a broken thumb?
šta mislite šta unutrašnji doktor može da uradi sa vašim
I
palcem?
already experienced this technique and it's did really
big deal of things, not with this specific time, but it did. So I really believe that it can do something.
Thank you very much. Would you like to tell them that in srpski?
Ja sam imala to već iskustvo sa tom tehnikom i zaista je značajno promenila moj život, ne sa ovim slomljenim vrstom, ali...
Good. How many of you actually had a Bowen treatment?
Moj pomoćnički doktor je pesnik. My therapist is...
Okay. You too?
Yes.
You too? Why? How many of you had a Bowen treatment?
Koliko vas je imalo Bowen tretmane?
Okay, there's a few. Me too.
Me too.
Okay, is anyone here that hasn't had treatment that actually has a stiff neck or a shoulder
Ima
pain?
neko ko nije imao tretman, ako ima problem sa vratom, pokretljivostu?
Ja imam problem sa vratom, ali to je sad novijeg datuma.
Još bolje?
Ranije sam imala neke tretmane za to. Sad imam učenje, da ne mogu da lepo sad...
The lady has a problem with this part.
Okay.
Issues? Now možete da sedem doktor and don't need to make it. She experienced Bowen, but now she has a bad problem with it. So she...
My office, please.
Moj opis.
Office. Da svi problemi mogu ovom tehnikom da se reše u jednom tretmanu.
If something is an acute on a young person that just hurts himself or herself,
Ako postoji neki akutan problem, znači mlađa osoba koja se tek povredila,
yes, we can address the problem directly and the person will feel a lot better.
možemo da uradimo znači tretman, da uputimo poruku direktno na problem i osoba ta može da reši problem u jednom tretmanu.
If somebody has a chronic disease or a chronic problem,
Ako neko ima kronični problem,
we work in a different way. We need to build the treatment.
radimo malo drugačije, moramo da nadograđujemo tretman.
Now, how many treatments?
Koliko tretmana je potrebno?
Nobody knows.
Niko ne zna.
It might be 3, it might be 5.
Može da bude 3,
Might
može
be
da
more.
bude 5, možda i više kod neke stanje.
But as a rule,
Ali kao pravilo,
our patients respond fantastically after 3, 4, or 5 treatments.
naši pacijenti najčešće reaguju odlično već posle 3 do 5 tretmana, bez obzira na problem.
Yeah.
Vide razliku.
Ja imam paralizu peronis.
We need to have a bed and we don't have a bed.
Trebao bi nam krevet za to, nažalost.
Yeah.
Ali možete da odete.
That's why I asked for shoulders or necks, because we can work on a
Zato je
chair.
pitao profesor ko ima problem sa vratom, sa ramenom, sa ovim delom, jer to može da se radi na stolici. Izvolite.
Okay. Okay.
Može li, naravno? Skolioza.
Which lady has the scoliosis? Okay. Scoliosis, again, scoliosis does not develop in one night.
Skolioza nije nešto, nažalost, što se razvilo za kratko vreme, odnosno preko
So we
noći.
need to be realistic about the whole thing, yes?
Znači moramo da budemo realistični.
Just remember, one of the things I keep telling everybody that my name is Andrew Zoppos, not Jesus Christos.
Jedna stvar koju on non stop ponavlja je da je njegovo ime Andrew Zoppos, a ne Isus Hristos.
In the scoliosis, we have scoliosis procedures that will address the problem, but it's not just one treatment miracle.
Znači možemo tretirati skoliozu svakako, ali to nije
So,
počeli ste. Znači možemo da tretiramo skoliozu, međutim skolioza mora da se tretira po određenom protokolu, a to su određene procedure koje se rade iz tretmana treninga.
let's say how many, just whatever it needs. Okay, we have one more chair.
Možemo još jednu stolicu.
Anybody else? Okay. Would you
Izvinite,
take your
imamo još
jacket,
jednu
please?
stolicu.
Is it possible to take your jacket off? No.
Andrew, excuse me. There is a woman who has dizziness.
Why does she have this?
Zašto
Is that a
imate
neck
to?
problem?
Is
Is
it
that
problem sa
a
vratom?
blood pressure problem? Is that a cervical problem?
The neck.
Okay, seriously.
Izvolite.
Okay, people, while I'm working, I'll be very happy to answer any questions you have.
Profesor je rekao da dok radi bit će veoma sretan da vam odgovori na bilo koje pitanje. pitanja.
And if I don't have an answer, I'll make one up.
Ako nema odgovor, izmislit će ga.
Just if I can relax. You know what I'm doing now? I'm opening the computer.
Ono što sad radi, on otvara kompjuter.
Remember what I said? Bowen was treating 14 people at once.
Sjetite se šta je rekao, gospodin Tom Bowen je tretirao 14 ljudi u isto vreme.
Just now it was supposed to do. 2 seconds before. Any question? No question? That's a good one.
Ima još neko pitanje?
Okay,
Šta je gospodinu radio sa?
pitanje.
Da li je pritisnuo mišić ili neki put energetski, šta?
The question is, did you do the move, when you do the move, did you do the pressure muscle or some
Yes.
energetic?
No. Nothing to do with energy, people. This is a manual therapy.
Znači, nema nikakve veze sa energijom, ovo je manuelna terapija.
We work on muscle, ligament, tendon, and fascia.
Mi radimo na mišićima, tetivama, ligamentima i fasciji.
These people know that did they have a treatment before?
Da li neko od vas, vi ste imali tretman, je li tako, Fred?
Da, all of them? This lady?
No. This lady in the purple sweater, red sweater, and the green.
They had a treatment. The ones that did not have a treatment,
Oni koji nisu imali tretman,
did you feel my pressure?
da li ste osjetili pritisak? He didn't feel anything.
That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Not everybody's the same. We're individuals.
Nismo svi isti, neko osjeti, neko ne osjeti. Ok.
Ja sam osjetila
Hladni pravac. She found something cold in the hands. and-
So be it. That's okay. Bravo. Fantastic. The body's working.
Odlično. Telo
Yeah.
radi.
It doesn't mean that everybody has to feel something.
Ne znači da svako treba nešto da osjeti.
If they do, that's good. If they don't, still good.
Ako osjete, odlično. Ako ne osjete, opet odlično.
Are you still feeling them?
I dalje osjećate ili ne? Still.
This lady feels anything? No. Maybe just turn around. Okay. Now the moves are on a specific point.
Znači, pokreti su na specifičnim tačkama.
Utahiste. One more time. As you can see, I am rolling over muscle.
Znači, kao što vidite, on rola pokret preko mišića.
Okay, sit again.
Posle ćemo da kažemo profesoru.
Sorry? Take on the technology, then want to show the people what I'm
Ne
doing.
mora da se okrećete, on je u stvari okrenuo gospođu da pokaže kako izgleda.
I don't want people to steal my technique.
Ne da mu ukradete tehniku.
Hallelujah. How can you forgive me?
Malo se samo odmakni. Aha, tebi će nešto drugo da radi.
How is the first lady? Is she still feeling my finger?
Da li još uvek osjećate prste i strujanje? Ne, ne.
It is.
Prva. Nju nije radio
You know, when you give a command to a computer,
zadate nešto kompjuteru,
next to the little mouse there, there is a clepsydra, yes?
next to the mouse?
The spicer, what do you call the thing, the arrow?
Aha, kursor.
The cursor.
Znači, znate, miš ima onaj kursor.
This is a clepsydra. Clepsydra, the hourglass.
Peščani sat, da, ok. Kad zadamo nešto i dobijemo na kompjuteru onaj peščani sat.
It means that the computer is processing.
Znači da kompjuter...
You must wait until that thing goes away. That's what we have
Morate da
here.
sačekate da kompjuter obradi tu informaciju i to je to što se dešava i na Bowenu.
Questions are very helpful for me too, people, because I've been in class all day with these people, some of the people here.
Pitanja bi pomogla, pošto je bio ceo dan na seminaru sa nekim od ljudi koji su došli.
And they're full of questions, and my little man is very tired.
Bili su puni pitanja, tako da je njegov mali čovek u mozgu veoma umoran.
So if anyone has a question,
Ako bilo ko ima pitanje, slobodno pitajte.
there's one over there.
Ja bih htjela da objasnite kakva je razlika između Bowena, acupresure i
Okay, acupressure, it's a pressure on the same spot,
Znači, acupresure pritisak na istim tačkama.
and it's very invasive too.
I veoma
It can be
invazivna.
invasive.
Veoma invazivna.
Acupuncture is a needle that you put on an exact location on the meridian channels.
Akupunktura je znači postavljanje iglica na određenim tačkama na meridijanima, odnosno kanalima energije.
Okay? Where the Bowen, it's a rolling move over muscle.
A Bowen je rolajući pokret preko mišića najčešće.
Yeah? When we challenge the muscle with the Bowen move, we'll create a piezoelectric current that takes messages to the computer center through the neurotransmitters.
Kada načinimo Bowen pokret, znači i taj challenge, odnosno pritisak, mi u stvari kreiramo piezoelektrični efekat koji preko mišićnih vlakana i preko neurotransmitera odlazi u mozak i daje na taj način poruku.
So the computer center processes the work. It sends a message to the area of concern of the body to relax, so the healing process can begin.
I znači kompjuter kada obradi poruku, šalje poruku na mesto gde smo uradili pokret i započinje proces izlečenja.
Are
you happy with that?
Ste zadovoljni sa tim odgovorom?
I thought that was more or less the same. Kada aktivirate u akupunkturi se dešava isto, mislim se ti da kako jer se isto tako stvara električno polje.
Yes, correct, but acupuncture does not challenge the muscles, does not create the piezoelectric current.
Znači u akupunkturi nemamo pritisak na mišić i nemamo taj piezoelektrični efekt koji Bowen pokret stvara.
Acupuncture, okay, it's been around for 4,000 years.
Akupunktura je tu 40.000 godina, da.
But you need a needle,
Ali vam je treba
and you need an acupuncturist that knows what he's doing.
i akupunkturolog koji zna šta radi.
My teacher said, for any problem in the system, if you put more than 2 needles, it's too many.
Njegov učitelj kaže, ako za jedan problem stavite 2 igle, to su 2 igle više.
And I have seen acupuncturists in the countries that I teach that they put 40 and 50 needles.
A on je video akupunkturologi koji stavljaju 40-50 iglica za jedan problem.
Is she still not happy, the lady?
I dalje niste zadovoljni odgovorom. I jeste.
No, that's no problem. That's okay. I gave up all my other professions
On se odrekao svih ostalih svojih profesija,
because
zanimanja,
when this technique came along,
jer kad je ova tehnika došla,
it made all the other techniques redundant.
Sve ostale tehnike su postale nevažne.
For me,
Za njega.
with the other techniques that I knew, I could only do one person at a time.
Sa ostalim tehnikama mogu da tretira samo jednu osobu.
With this, I do 9, 10, and more.
Sa ovom može da tretira 9, 10 i više.
With the other techniques, I had to have them in again and again and again and again and again.
Sa drugim tehnikama pacijenti moraju da dolaze.
With this one,
Sa ovom
3, 4, 5 treatments, bang,
3,
out.
4, 5
Thank you.
puta i gotovo.
Finish. How we doing? Okay? As you can see, I'm making moves. Hello. I'm making moves
Radim pokret
on specific points
na određenim mestima
in sequence.
u sekvencama.
It's a message.
To je poruka.
This is the difference between all the other techniques and this one. This one, it's a message, not a massage.
Ovo je, znači to je jedna od različitosti, ako poredite sa drugim tehnikama, mi prenosimo poruku, mi ne masiramo. Recite, izvolite.
Kao i prvo se zahvalim što smo imali priliku da vidimo ovu tehniku i ovo čudo u ovom modernom svetu, jednostavno čudo u modernom svetu. Ali mene interesuje sledeće, kada dođemo do nekog stepena ozdravljenja i se otresemo nekog bola u rukama, nogama, glavi, da li je to definitivno ili se posle izvesnog vremena taj bol opet vraća?
No. I've had patients, they come back to me 2-3 years later.
Profesor kaže ne, ima pacijenta koji su dolazili 3-4 godine posle, kada su ga posjećivali.
And then I had to look back into my records to find their name.
I mora da pogleda u ima zapisuje sve slučajeve, da vidi o čemu se radi.
What happened in the last couple of years? I haven't seen you 2-3 years. What
I
happened?
pita ih šta se desilo, nisam vas vidio 3-4 godine.
Every one of them reported that they, after my last treatment, they were great until now they had a re-injury. And they came for another reason.
I svi kažu da ili da su bili dobro sve te 3-4 godine i ako su došli zbog istog problema, imali su ponovno povredu ili su došli zbog potpuno drugog problema.
Now, yes.
Da li se ova tehnika radi uvijek na isti način uključivanje kompjutera?
Pretty much there are about 80 different procedures
Otprilike postoji 80 različitih procedura
that would address different problems and specific problems.
koje mogu da budu upućene na različite i na specifične probleme.
Now, the training on this technique is not just one seminar and that's the end of it.
Znači, učenje ove tehnike se ne sastoji samo iz jednog seminara i to je to.
I have people here that started in 2009.
Ima ovdje među nama terapeuta koji smo počeli da učimo ovu tehniku 2009. godine.
On Monday, Tuesday, they will complete their training.
Sad, ovog ponedeljka i utorka ćemo završiti potpuno učenje.
Okay, in Serbia it took a year extra because we had some lack of interest and we waited a bit longer.
Da, u Srbiji to ne bi trebalo toliko da traje. Inače, međutim, u Srbiji mi smo imali jedan problem, a to je da smo imali godinu dana pauze, jer nije bilo interesovanja.
finally we got through.
Ali ipak smo uspeli.
See, all these people, they all said that they have neck problems, yes?
Skoro svi ljudi su ovdje koji sede su rekli da imaju problem sa vratkom.
So we are working and asking the body to address the neck.
Znači mi radi, profesor radi i traži telu, upućuje telu u stvari na vrat.
Any other questions?
Koliko ima diplomiranih terapeuta u Srbiji?
I think we crossed over 50 or 60. That's what do you think?
U Srbiji ima negde oko 40 terapeuta koji su članovi udruženja, međutim neki nisu, koji se ne bave Bowenom ili nisu obnovili licencu.
Okay, great. So yes, okay, we started in 2009, but times are pretty tough around in the Balkans.
Počeli smo od 2009. ali kao što znate vremena na Balkanu su dosta teška.
We from Bowen Australije, we recognize that actually, and the costing of the seminars here in Serbia is half the cost of England and France.
Znači, cene seminara ovde su pola cene koliko to košta u Engleskoj i u Francuskoj. Ali opet, seminara, 350 eura po seminaru.
Izvinite, što znači obnoviti licencu? I nakon kog vremena se to dešava?
Sad ću vam reći.
In every profession in the health industry,
U svakoj profesiji u zdravstvu,
any doctors here?
jer ima neki doktor ovde, možda?
No.
Ne?
No. That's unusual. You ask any doctor, they will tell you that every year, if not every minimum 2 years.
Sorry, there is a doctor, but in French.
Okay. Well, if we ask the ladies, she'll tell you that every year they have to go back for revision.
Znači, ako pitamo gospođu, jeste li u penziji, ali sve do doktor, reći će vam da mora da postoji neko obnavljanje i nadogradnja.
Correct? Yes. In every health industry profession, they need revisions.
U svakoj profesiji u zdravstvu potrebne su revizije, znači obnavljanje prosto onoga što smo uradili.
Monday and Tuesday, the first group will finish their master
Degree.
Diploma or masters.
Znači, ponedeljak i utorak, ono što ćemo mi imati, imat ćemo reviziju master seminara i posle toga ko prođe dobit će master diploma.
And in a year's time, they will have to come back to me for a revision.
I za godinu dana mi moramo da napravimo reviziju toga.
We have an
Moramo
excellent,
da ponovimo.
we have an excellent name of Baltic around the world.
Bowen, to je Bowen Akademije Australije, ima ime koje se stvarno priznaje i znači nešto u svetu.
And we want to keep it that way.
I želimo da zadržimo to.
Because if somebody doesn't do it correct,
Jer ako neko ne radi,
nothing bad is going to happen.
Ništa se neće desiti loše.
Because even if you do this technique wrong,
Jer ako neko i radi loše ovu tehniku ili pogrešno,
the worst thing that could happen is not going to work.
najgora stvar koja može se desiti da ne deluje.
But people are not going to say that practitioner doesn't know how to do it.
Ali ljudi neće reći da terapeut ne zna da radi.
They're going to say that I've tried Bowen, it doesn't work.
Nego će reći probao sam Bowen i ne radi.
Da li možda ste radili autotretman?
question is, can we do the treatment for ourselves?
Up to 70% can be done on your own self.
70% može.
And if you're more flexible, you can do more.
Evo, gospođa bi želela da podeli nešto s vama upravo šta se desilo. Ona inače, vi ste bili na tretmanu tako, prošle godine, ali je sasvim drugog problema. Evo sad ću vam reći zašto je sad celo ovdje i šta se desilo.
A ja sam sela zbog toga što mi je uključen, malo ne mogu da lepo okrenem na levu stranu vrata. Ovde me zateže, ali sam imala problem, u stvari što mi je deformitet kičme, pa prosto ja mislim da ovde sam osjećala tupi bol, kao da je ukočenost, kako bi rekao?
Spazam. To se zove spazam, grč mišića.
Da, kao grč mišića, da, upravo to. Onda teško mi kad dođu da udahnem, kao to me malo ako tupo zaboli. A inače imam problem sa žučnom kesom jer je puna kamenčića i dok sam dolazila ovde do hotel parka, sve vreme me je to tu potištilo, bolalo i tako dalje. Međutim, sad trenutno jednostavno prestao je taj bol i to ovo se ovde odpočilo. Jednostavno, laknulo mi je na kični, tako se.
Congratulations. Your body did a very good job. I'm only a facilitator.
Profesor samo prenosi nešto.
I don't do the fixing. Her own body does the fixing.
Znači on ne radi, on nije doktor i ne leči njeno telo, samo leči.
Our body will fix the problem in his own time and limitations.
Telo će rešiti problem u svoje vreme i u svojim limitima.
All we tell our patient is to walk a little and drink a little water.
A lot of water.
Ono što mi kažemo pacijentima posle tretmana je da šetaju malo i da piju vodu.
How much water should a person be drinking a day?
Koliko bi osoba trebala da popije vode u toku dana?
3 liters.
To znamo 2,5 litra.
Tu je na 2 liters.
False, wrong.
Nije tačno.
30 milliliters per kilogram per day.
30 mililitra po kilogramu na dan.
And the best way to drink it, little bit at the time, all the time.
I najbolje je kad pijete vodu da pijete pomalo sve vreme.
It hydrates the fascia. And we haven't finished it.
A još nismo se. Koji je njemu najbitniji problem u tom trenutku?
Many times I had people that come with knee injury.
Mnogo puta, recimo, dođu ljudi sa problemom sa kolenima.
7 days later they come back and they say their knee is not really 100%, it's a little bit better.
7 dana kasnije oni dođu i kažu bolje mi je malo koleno, ali nije 100% bolje.
But I was suffering with insomnia.
Ali sam patio od insomnije.
And I slept like a baby.
I spavao sam kao beba.
Yeah? Or they say I feel so depressed now, I feel great.
Ili kažu osjećam sam se depresivno, sad se osjećam super.
This is the inner body. Medical practitioner they go to, or a neurologist, or whoever, they're going to tell them there is no cure. Take these tablets and see how you go.
Kad idete kod doktora, doktor im kaže ne postoji lek za to stanje, popiti ga, pa da vidimo šta će se desiti.
Unfortunately for us Bowen practitioners, we cannot give guarantee.
Nažalost, za nas Bowen terapeute mi ne možemo da dajemo nikakve garancije.
There's only 3 times this technique will not work.
Postoje samo tri stvari, odnosno 3 slučaja kada ova tehnika ne može da dela.
If the practitioner does not do it correct,
Ako terapeut ne radi korektno,
if the patient re-injures himself or herself,
ako se pacijent
or the patient doesn't want to get better.
Iako pacijent ne želi da.
And you know, there are many people in our society that they have to have a problem.
I u našem društvu postoji mnogo ljudi koji moraju da imaju problem.
For many reasons.
Tako, iz raznih razloga, tako moraju da žive.
They need attention from the family.
Treba im pažnja od porodice.
They want everybody to say, oh, poor thing, you feel so, you look so sick. They thrive on that. These people will come on.
Takvim ljudima ne možemo da pomoći.
Antivirus isto. Da, lako je kompjuter, to htjela da ima antivirus.
On je i dalje tu negdje i čeka da prisutan čeka da organizam oslobi, pa da možda opet. I meni moj kardiolog što kaže, gospodin kaže ti lekove, da odusteš od lekova i živi tako. Ali ja kuću volim da ti mogu da se osvodim lekova.
Kako mi krivo što nam nisam snimila, što je govorio te.
Okay. I'll give you one example that happened in 2009 in Philippines. One of my students asked me to treat her brother. I said, Michelle, you can do what I can do. She said, no, he's in hospital and I want you to do it, please. I said, okay, what's his diagnosis? And she said, he's diagnosed with AIDS. Virus. HIV. So, went to the hospital. When I walked into the room, I saw a young man, 31-year-old, down to 29 kilos, multiple complications, and I saw him, well, I thought I saw him shaking hands with St. Pedro. The doctor that was there, he said, well, he might not like. I gave Michelle a set of treatments to do, and I flew out of Philippines. 6 months later, read it and put it in the right drawer. 2 major things wrong with the little man. Sorry, boys. He's a man. Man can only do one thing at a time. And if you ladies accept that, you will get better with your partners. Accept that they can only do one thing at a time. Accept it. So, in my patient's case now, the little man addressed the lower back because it was more important than the pain in the neck. From the moment this lady gets up and starts to walk, all of them, the body will start to reset to heal itself. Moment by moment, and hour by hour, and day by day. They get better and better and better. Huh? Now, if the problem is chronic, it might need another treatment or 2 or 3. But it will get better. And how is the other leg? Turn your head to the left and right. Oh, she's really going right around. Where's the restriction? Another wrong restriction. These young ladies, I don't know. Young ladies, they're always stressed. Yeah?
Emotional issues. Emotional issues.
Both sides? That side too. Actually, no, right, okay. The first seminar for beginners, you can actually practice it as from the first day of the first seminar. With your family and friends. Yeah? Module 3 and 4, which is the next seminar. You learn more procedures and revise the first procedures. And you learn how to treat people with sporting injuries or more serious conditions than what you learn on module 1 and 2. And after that we go into looking at the technique as a professional therapist. Not just to treat mama and papa. You can use this at work as a profession. Although in Serbia, in Romania, in Greece, in the Balkans, this technique is not recognized as yet. Huh? We are recognized in Australia, in America, in Canada, New Zealand, South Africa,
England,
Germany,
Austria.
And he's rolling down the hill now. He's coming from Germany to be recognized here. Yeah? Eventually it's going to happen. In Greece, probably be the last country to recognize England. Okay, then we will complementary medicine. What? Serbia, I don't know, maybe the second last. But it's going to happen, people. It took us a lot of years in Australia to get it where it is. And Australia is very open to complementary medicine. After all, that country is only 200 years old. Serbia is 2,000 years old. Yeah.
200 godina. 200.
Australia only 200. Serbia is 2,000. Greece is 3,000 or 4. Maybe more. Okay. Super. So where is the restriction? Is there any restriction still? Yeah. Okay. Now there is one little problem here when we have a pain in the muscle. If it is a chill in the muscle, cold in the muscle, chill, that might take just a little bit longer for the in a doctor to
potrebno je onda malo
fix the problem.
više da unutrašnji doktor reši problem.
The other lady says, how is it? Super. Very good. Very good. Well, I rest my case. This is what makes this technique so popular all over the world. And I can still answer questions.
Ja nemam pitanja, ali imam primer. Ali imam primer. Na sebi. Example?
An example?
Yes, my example, if I can say.
It's yours.
Uvek spavam na stomaku i uvek sam glavu okretala na levu stranu. Prosto nisam nikad mogla da zaspim ako je glava na desnoj strani. Uvek sam manje mogla vidjeti preko desnog ramena nego preko levog, zbog vrata. Isto je rađen 1 do 2 tretmana za vrat i nakon toga mogu zaspati na obe strane bez ikakvog problema. Znači vrat se sad pomera jednako i na levu i na desnu stranu. Znači manje je moglo da se okrene na desnu do sada. Ovo sad je bolje. Ovo je moje.
A ti flauta?
Dobro.
A reći da si flauta?
Jesi imam. Sorry.
Imate sada neku restrikciju pokretima?
Ne. To je.
So, did you have a Bowen treatment?
Yes, I have 2 Bowen treatments.
So, this is what it said.
And that is...
Thank you.
Yeah, right.
Straight after the operation, the quicker you get to, the better. Yeah? It's like a baby. No. A practitioner should know. The reason why I said the quicker you get to a person with after an operation,
razlog zašto je rekao da treba što pre da počne da radi Bowen tretman posle operacije.
when a person or a body goes through an operation, it's a trauma.
Kada osoba, odnosno telo ide na operaciju, to je trauma.
Physical and mental and psychological and all that.
Na fizičkom, mentalnom, psihološkom nivou.
As soon as you have a Bowen treatment, the shock of the trauma of the operation stops.
Što pre dobi Bowen tretman, šok, trauma će prestati.
And the body will heal itself. So the rehabilitation is much, much quicker.
I telo će početi da se leči, tako da će rehabilitacija biti mnogo brža.
We have Bowen Bowen moves for babies.
Imamo pokrete za bebe u Bowenu.
As soon as they come out of the birth canal,
Čim izađu iz porođajnog puta, može
it's
se...
a trauma in itself.
To je trauma.
You do the emergency moves or the trauma moves,
Čim izađu, znači mogu da im se urade takozvani šok pokreti
and the emergency is over. The shock is over.
i na taj način zaustavimo šok.
The development of the baby is so quick, you will not believe it.
I razvoj odmah započinje, ne možete da verujete koliko je razvoj kod takvih beba brži i bolji.
Do we get the flyers?
Imamo flyer.
On a flyer, there is the website.
Na flyerima ćete vidjeti adresu websajta.
If you go into that website on publications,
Ako odete na website,
you will find 2 studies of Bowen and babies with reflux and colics.
naći ćete 2 slučaja sa Bowen bebama kod refluksa i kod kolika.
1 or 2 treatments, that's all it takes.
1 do 2 tretmana.
No more colics,
I
no
nemaju više kolika.
reflux.
Ili reflux.
It's absolutely amazing.
Stvarno je čudesno.
Animals, you treat once a dog and he will always come to you.
Takođe, Bowenom možemo tretirati životinje.
So-
Ako tretiramo kuću, ono će uvek dolaziti ponovo kod vas.
The placebo is not there.
Znači, time smo dokazali
Because
da
babies-
postoji placebo, jer su pitanje
babies-
bebe i životinje.
Babies and animals, no placebo.
Baby bottle. On which level we are using, we are learning baby bottles?
Level 2.
Još jednu bebu i gotovo.
And maybe had a question.
Sure. Diabetes. Okay. We have many people with diabetes that their sugar level drops.
Evo ja mogu da ispričam moj slučaj.
Sorry?
I can tell my story. I was diabetic.
How long is it?
For 3 and... How long?
How long your story is?
Oh, 2 minutes.
Okay, go for it.
Yes? Okay.
To je da, nažalost, neće svi reagovati na isti način.
They don't need to drink it all, just half a glass, a little bit, it's okay. Now.
Okay, the question is what the dates and others
It's up to the inner doctor.
Znači, to zavisi od unutrašnjeg doktora. Ono što nisam uspela da završim malo pre, znači da će zavisiti od tela do tela. I didn't have...
Okay, so we have nothing to lose to try people.
Znači, nemamo ništa da izgubimo.
Say for instance, we don't cure diabetes.
Recimo, ako ne izlečimo dijabetes.
But if we can give somebody a better quality of life, isn't that a miracle?
Ali ako nekom možemo da omogućimo bolji kvalitet života, zar to već nije čudo?
Okay, the reason why we give water
Zašto
to these
smo
people,
dali ovim ljudima vodu?
when
Ne
you
morate
first,
sve da popijete, da znate, ali možete.
the very first time you have a Bowen treatment, the first thing the body will do is detoxification.
Prvi put kad budete uradili tretman, ono što telo prvo radi je započinje proces detoksikacije.
Don't we all need detox?
Svima nam treba detoksikacija.
What we eat is not like it used to be, is it?
Ono što jedemo nije kao nekog, nažalost.
It's full of chemicals,
Puno je hemikalija,
genetic engineering.
genetskog inženjeringa.
So it's all bad for us.
Znači sve uglavnom loše za nas.
As soon as you get a Bowen treatment, the first thing the body will do is to clear out the system all toxins.
Kada primite prvi tretman, prvo što će telo da uradi, počeće da čisti.
So imagine if you count that your body is a glass full of water.
Zamislite da je vaše telo jedna čaša puna vode.
69.9% of the body is liquid.
69% vode je, posto tela je voda u našem telu.
In the glass, there are a lot of rubbish, the tissue, toxins, you name it, there are a lot of rubbish.
U toj čaši, zamislite, u toj vodi da je puno prljavštine, raznorazne.
How do we get all that out?
Kako ćemo to da izvadimo?
Only one way.
Samo na jedan način.
Put water in it.
Sipat ćemo čistu vodu.
A little bit at the time, all the time.
Malo po malo, svo vreme.
30 milliliters per kilogram per day.
30 mililitra po kilogramu na dan.
How?
Htjela sam težinu.
I was waiting for somebody to